Okay, the first step to creating a web page is to start with a notepad document or a simple text document. Right now I'm on the PC, so we're going to use Notepad, but it works the same way as on a Mac. So you have a Notepad document, and this is a sample, one of the samples that I posted up in the classroom. And basically it has the doc type. It's defined as a strict doc type. It has the opening HTML tag with the attribute pointing to the W3 org. And I have the head of the document, and this is the head element right here. I have a meta tag in it, and I have a title for it. And this title can be anything for your document. Right now it says untitled. And then we have the body tag, and we have the closing body tag, and finally the closing HTML tag. So this is your HTML element. This is your body element. This is your head element. Inside the body of the page is where the text and the content goes. That's the part. That's the stuff that is seen in the browser when you look at it. So assuming I have the puppy image here, assuming that you want to see the puppy image, you would put the command to show the image, which is the image tag, and then you have to say what the source of it is. And right now it's on my desktop, so it's simply the name of the image itself, and that's puppy.gif. That's the GIF is the file format. And then you could put an alt tag to it, and just in case the image doesn't show up. The alt tag will describe what the image is. So you can say alt equals puppy. And then we have a space, and then we have a slash, because the image tag, unlike the body tag, has a closing body tag. The image tag doesn't have a closing tag. The image tag is a self-closing tag. So that means when you have a self-closing tag, you have a space, and then you have a slash, and then you have the end bracket. That is it. You just have one tag. That's all there is to it. Another example of a self-closing tag is the meta tag. That doesn't have a closing tag. All that is one just straight line, and there's a space, and then the slash, and then the bracket. Another example would be the line break tag. That's the BR. So those are examples of self-closing tags, meaning that there's no opening and closing tag, just all wrapped up into one unit. So right there, getting back to this is indicating that the puppy is going to link to the puppy file. Now, this is not going to work if the puppy image is not in the location that you're indicating. If I were to create a folder here and name the folder image or images, for example, and I wanted to keep all my images in that images folder, this is not going to work, because that's indicating that this puppy image is right in the same location as this page file. Now what I want to do is I'm going to save as instead of docx, I'm just going to type test HTML. I'm going to save it right on my desktop. So here's my file right here. Now if I would open up in this browser, this image is not going to show up. It's just going to say the word puppy, because I just put the image up in this image folder. And let's just do this to show you what's going on here. Okay, so there's the word puppy. That's the alt tag that showed up because you can't find a puppy. Now, if I were to remove this, I were to take this puppy image out of there. Now it's on the desktop. It's in the location that we're indicating. So if I did that and I just refresh this browser, there's the image, because now the browser can find this image of the puppy. So that's one example of how to link images. You have to make sure that the image that you're indicating is in the location that you have in the HTML page code. So that's an example of how to do a page. It's a very simple page. All we have is one image on it. Nevertheless, that's an example. I'm going to reduce this right here. So here's our two files. There's our HTML file, and it worked in a browser. I want to upload this to your website. How do we do that? Well, we have FileZilla, which is a program that we can use, or we can use the student portion to upload images as well. Either one will work just as well. I like FileZilla. I've used it for quite a while, so that's the application I'm using. It's as an example here. So we have FileZilla that we're using. To get into your website, I have a couple of student sites already predefined according to what they sent me in the email. So Here's one. You know, this is how you define it. You have your username.aisites.com as the host. The protocol will be FTP. The encryption is used plain FTP. The login type is normal. When you create sites, it's automatically set to that. So you just select normal as a login type. You type your username, you type your password, and all you have to do is say connect, and boom, we're in there. And this is the sample site that we can do. And you have your FND132 folder, so we just double-click this. We double-click the folder that you're supposed to put everything into, and there's your puppy image. Actually, you had a PNG. So what we can do is just take these two files, and we're just going to slide them in here. So I have the test file, and I have the puppy image. Now, if I call up the site, according to the student here, the page will come up with the picture of the puppy, just like we had before. That's all there is to it. This is the website that we're uploading images to. These are the two files that we created on our desktop, and we're just sliding up online into the student web space according to whatever the settings should be. I'm just going to close out of this right now. That closed the connection, so we can slide that out of the way. If I open up the browser and I typed the web space name, and actually I have to find out what that was. Whoops, here we go. I'm just going to copy that, paste that in here, and then it's slash, and then the folder structure was FND132 / week 1, and then I named the file test.html. What I expect to find when I hit the enter key is this file is going to open up, and it's going to have the puppy image on the page just like we saw before. And there it is. That's the address for the file, because that's the site that we uploaded the image and the document to. So it's that simple. You know, here's your file, your account name. Here's .aisites.com. Whoops, .aisites.com. That's the server name is aisites.com. Landford BL is the subdomain. That's the user account that we just uploaded the file to. FND132 is the folder name. Week 1 is a folder name, and test.html is the file that we just created. On that file is the puppy. Now, if I wanted to look at the page code in Firefox, it's Control-U, and that brings up the source code for the page, and we can see exactly how that page is coded, and that's exactly what we just did. Obviously, it's the page itself. So that's how you can look at other users of the student code to see if they did things correctly, or what they can improve on, and what they how they did correctly. That's how we do that. So we talked about creating a page, we talked about inserting content on a page, we talked about uploading the content using an FTP program like FileZilla into the student web space. We talked about how to retrieve the username, and finally how to get the page up itself.